Santa in the 86th Prison of Hell. Aston Baya. Episode 5. Brother, I have spoken about Christmas in a teaching before, but this time it will be different, because it will not be a preaching or a teaching but a testimony. Many people celebrate this holiday. Therefore, I will testify so that you can decide whether to continue celebrating this holiday or not. When I had this experience in my life, I was at a time when I was being taken by the Lord to hell. I mean, I had a daily experience with the Lord for a period of 351 days. I had been in hell for 351 days. And on the 86th day of this experience, the Lord came and took me back to hell. When we arrived in hell, as usual, it was a realm full of fire. There was a lot of fire lava everywhere, and I saw countless lost souls inside the fire lava. There were many of them. I noticed their lower parts were in the lava from the fire. Brother, we've all seen lava from a volcano, how they looked like molten liquid steel. Now imagine thousands of people inside burning liquid lava. I came to see that the majority of the souls I observed were people who attended church. Beloved, the realm of hell is divided into 351 valleys which we call the chambers of hell. These chambers of hell are actually continents of hell. On earth we have 5 continents, but in hell there are 351 continents. I can allow myself to tell you that the continent of Africa and Asia combined is equivalent to a continent of hell. This place of torment is truly vast. It is an unbearable place because the torment was great. People were crying and screaming, they were all asking for forgiveness. When I saw this horrible scene, I cried continuously. There was no empty landscape and the places were full of fire. People were tormented by fire and demons. There was no escape from hell. I saw members of my family. In hell, I saw my grandmother and my grandfather. All these souls in hell were in pits of fire. I asked the Lord, why are all these souls in their respective pits of fire? The Lord said, when men on earth live in sin, they dig a hole for themselves. They dig an eternal pit in hell. Sinful lives provide demons with material to build your pit. Each chamber of hell was in an enclosure. And millions of screams arose everywhere. I have heard people complaining and regretting. A lost soul said, why did my body lie to me and deceive me? I realized the desire of the body. But that's where it led me. Everything I strived to acquire in life, I left on earth and lost my soul for eternity. Woe is me! Other souls insulted God, because the suffering was unbearable and there was no escape. When I saw the pain of the lost, I wept bitterly. I said to the Lord, is there no longer any possibility for these souls to be redeemed? The Lord said to me, men can repent on earth while they are alive. However, when the men stumble into this place, it is too late. As we moved above these people, I saw countless lost souls raise their arms to the Lord and ask for deliverance. When I looked, I saw that these lost souls were as if rotten and that they were covered with worms and fire which burned them. Every time these people tried to eliminate the worms on their bodies, more worms came on them. It was better to accept the ones that are crawling on your body instead of removing them because they will multiply. In the realm of hell, there were rapid surges from underground and fire burned all those countless crowds of souls and crying people. Seeing this torment, I cried all the time and said, Lord, have mercy on your people. Santa Claus. Finally, we arrived at a door. When I looked, I saw a man sitting in front of the door. He was dressed exactly like Santa Claus. He was holding toys in his hand and laughing at the people stuck inside the portal. I saw above the door of this place. It said, "The rooms of the damned who celebrate Christmas." The writing was not of this world, but the Lord allowed me to understand it. I'm just simplifying things so you can understand. In hell, I saw that the fire did not burn demons, unclean birds, unclean beasts and animals. It was only human souls on fire that were in this hostile place. When I saw this writing on the door, I said, "Lord, what is the meaning of this writing?" The Lord said, "All the sins that people commit on earth are classified as prisons and punishments in hell. This room you see is designed for people who celebrate Christmas." I said, "Lord, people celebrate Christmas because it's your birthday." The Lord answered me, "That is not the case. This celebration was instituted by the devil through the Roman Catholic Church. And the demon you see called Santa Claus is the unclean spirit that deceives the world. He's a demon. This church that invented Christmas is the representative of Satan. They instituted this Christmas." The Lord said, "There were many gods in ancient times. The emperor worshipped the sun god. When the Romans came to Christianity, the emperor resolved to come with a festival for the Christians. The emperor said, 'Since there is a feast of Holy Communion to remember the death and resurrection of Christ, we need a day of celebration to celebrate the sun god.' This inspiration came from the devil himself, who called a meeting in which he said to the powers of darkness, 'Since the Christians of the world do not have a day in which they remember and celebrate their master, and since living daily in the presence of their master is a celebration of their God, let's imagine a day when we tell the world that they are celebrating the birth of Christ. It will be the day when the whole world and all the families of the world will honor me. I want a day when the whole world would celebrate and worship me, one day, when all the families of the earth would worship and celebrate me. This day will not be to remember the death of Christ, for it is too powerful. When the families of the earth and the inhabitants of the earth celebrate this day, they will be marked by my leaflet 666. This resolution of Satan was implemented by the Roman Catholic Church, and the people who celebrate Christmas are marked with 666 because they worship the devil. I saw this demon, who was Santa Claus, in front of the door. He said to the damned in torment, "Rejoice, for this is your kingdom. You have accepted our proposal and you have done our will by bidding. This is your reward." When we arrived at the door, this demon fled from the presence of the Lord. I saw the names of the people who celebrate this pagan holiday at the door. Then the door opened. When we entered the door of this room, I was like lost. I said, "Lord, please get me out of here. I swear to tell people that hell is real. This place is unbearable. I cannot take it." The Lord said, "My son, you must see this. It's in your interest. You should talk about these things to the people of the country." Brother, there was fire everywhere in that place. There was no empty space. Soon, I began to hear voices of men and children. They were innumerable. These children were obsessed with celebrating Christmas on earth. I looked and saw that they were like rotting, and they were crying. As we were moving to that place, I saw a pit, and inside the pit there was a baby crying. He was devoured by worms. As the baby cried, the Lord allowed me to hear him. He said, "I don't know anything. I left the earth when I was 1 year old. What did I do to deserve this?" I asked the Lord, "Why is this baby here?" The Lord said, "The baby was initiated into witchcraft from the womb. That's why he's there." When we left this baby, I saw a toddler. He was surrounded by demons. These demons were cartoon characters he watched on earth. The kid used to watch Snowy. As a result, Snowy was around him in this place among others. The child appears to be 8 years old. Snowy, French, Milou, is a fictional character from the adventures of Tintin, the comic book series by Belgian cartoonist Hereux. Snowy is a white wire fox terrier who is a companion to Tintin, the protagonist of the series. Brother, in hell it was hard to identify people because they were rotting and skeletal. You will recognize the people by their voices because they were covered in worms. The child was crying and calling the names of his mother and father. Because when you fall into hell, you will remember your family and loved ones that you left behind on earth. I asked the Lord, why was this child there? The Lord said, when this child was on earth, his parents always bought him gifts and presents for Christmas. But whenever his parents didn't buy him gifts and clothes, he cried and bothered his parents. He would shout and assert himself and say, I have to celebrate Christmas. His parents were in such a hurry that they had to go out of their way to buy him Christmas gifts and clothes. When new clothes were bought for him, he was happy to go play with other children. Since the child did this every Christmas, the devil put the mark 666 on the child, because he had become a worshipper of Santa Claus who meant everything to the child. It was actually Santa worship. The Lord said, you will have no God but me. Christmas became more important to children and Santa Claus became a god to children. When Christmas comes, they get impatient and their hearts beat. When we left this pit, we went to another pit where I saw a man and a woman inside. They were chained and skeletal. They said to themselves, I am here because of you. It's your fault. Quickly, the Lord told them to be quiet. When I looked at these two people, I saw that there were no eyes in their sockets because the fire had consumed their eyes and worms were coming out of their sockets. They said, Lord, have mercy on us. They were on their knees and begging for mercy. But the Lord said, my children, it is too late. I saw that Jesus was crying for their souls. Jesus said, you had all the time on earth to repent. Once you fall here, there's nothing I can do. The Lord said, you see, this man and this woman were boyfriend and girlfriend. When Christmas in the year 2013 came, they went to the restaurant to eat and have a good time. It was on their return that they had an accident on the city's National Boulevard. I asked the Lord, what did they do wrong? The Lord said, you shall have no other gods before me. They wanted to celebrate Christmas. And that is their condemnation. Brother, imagine, just because of the celebration of this holiday called Christmas, the souls of these people were lost. Jesus had not finished speaking when we heard someone behind us call out to the Lord and say, Jesus, please take me out of this place. I have suffered enough. We went to the pit where the voice came from. I saw that as we were going there, the Lord was weeping and shedding tears like someone who has lost a loved one. Then I saw from the pit a woman crying. There were no eyes in her sockets because her flesh was burned. I saw that in his pit there was like a huge pot full of meat, but there was a voice shouting, Justice. I said, Lord, what has she done? The Lord said, this woman did not go out to celebrate Christmas, but every Christmas she prepared a lot of food and meat and invited people to come and celebrate. Then one Christmas day after cooking, she shouted, Merry Christmas, to everyone in the street. When she cried out, Merry Christmas, the principality of Christmas came and said to her spirit, Since you cry out my name, I have come, and this demon entered her house. The lady couldn't see the Christmas demon we call Santa Claus. A few days later, she fell ill and died. On the day of his death, Santa Claus came to throw his soul into this place. She never knew she invited this demon into her home. Seeing these things, I cried a lot. The lady said to the Lord, Master, you know that I have served you faithfully. I organized church and carried the pastor's Bible. I paid my tithe. I was doing evangelism. Jesus said, I know the works you have done for me. But you were reckless and complacent because you knew my word and my principles, but you continued to celebrate this festival with good heart. You have ignored the voice of the Spirit because of a lack of vigilance. By celebrating this holiday, you went to worship this God of Christmas, who is a demon. You will have no other God than me. It's too late and there's nothing I can do. Then we moved to another pit where I saw 4 children. They were holding flaming hammers and hitting a woman with their hammers. They said, we didn't do anything wrong. But this woman brought us here. She is the one who taught us to celebrate Christmas every year. This is why we are here. The Lord said. This lady is the mother of these 4 children. She bought her children's clothes every year at Christmas and they celebrated. One day they were on a bus and they had an accident and they died. The mother told the Lord, the children pressured me every Christmas to buy them new clothes, and I had no choice but to please them to have peace. I wanted to please them. The Lord said, My daughter, it is written, do not be conformed to this world. You are not of this world. Brother, we cannot do things and follow the traditions of the world because the people of this world do it. We are not of this world. Let us learn to use the freedom we have received from the Spirit. The Lord said, My daughter, the time is up for you. As we moved around this place, there were pits everywhere with people screaming from the pain. There were demons mocking these souls in this place. They said, You worshipped Santa Claus by celebrating Christmas. This is your kingdom. You will celebrate and worship Santa here forever. Why are you crying? You are in your kingdom. This is your kingdom forever. While we were in this hell chamber, I saw the door through which we had entered this hell chamber. I saw demons enter the door with a number of children. They were pulling these children with wires that were attached to their tongues. The Lord said, What you see are the newcomers. They died on earth and they have the mark of Santa Claus 666 on their foreheads. They were screaming for help. The Lord had a love for these souls. But he kept saying, Too late, too late. Beloved, how many times have you and I celebrated this pagan holiday? Then I saw from a distance a soul that was inside liquid lava. His stomach was 4 meters long and demons pierced his stomach with javelins. The Lord said, This man lived on earth 55 years from his birth until his death. He celebrated Christmas every year. He never failed to celebrate. He would buy food and clothes and go out to celebrate. He kept telling his wife, We need to celebrate and enjoy this time of life. I'm happy to be with you. The Lord said, All the food that he had eaten during the whole celebration of Christmas all these years is in his belly. This is why it is so. Jesus said, The demons will pierce him forever. And I saw that he was unable to get up because of his stomach. He called his pastor's name, but it was too late. He was there inside the fire. Then I saw a preacher in hell preaching and telling lost souls, Do not celebrate Christmas as it is of the devil. I saw that some souls asked for forgiveness, others insulted them. I asked the Lord, Why did this preacher fall here? The Lord said, In his church he preached that people might celebrate Christmas. All the Christmas children were invited and gave gifts to his church. When he died, he realized he was wrong. That's why you see him preaching this way, but it's too late for him. When we came to him, he said, Lord, have mercy on me. I have done your work and won souls on earth. And when I fell into hell, I realized my mistake. This is why I preach here and many souls have believed me. Get me out here. The Lord said, You lying servant, you knew my word, but you wanted to follow the celebration of the world and you preached that celebrating Christmas was good. It's too late. As we were leaving, this preacher began to insult the Lord and blasphemed. The Lord was in tears. In this location, I saw the cardinals of our country. I will not mention their names. I saw Catholic priests and popes. It was unbearable. There were people in the fire-lava river. Some were looking for a way out, but there was no place to hide. They were lying in the river of fire. People cried out for help and said, What have we done to deserve this torment? The surrounding wall of this place was also burning with a great fire. In this chaos, I heard a voice saying, Turn up the temperature. For every half hour there was an increase in the temperature of the lava. You can't imagine what I'm talking about. There was incessant screaming. You can't imagine this horrible place. In this place I saw a cardinal with a popular school in our city. He was surrounded by children who were grabbing him. They said, Father, you are the one who brought us here. These children were joined by faithful believers of the Catholic Church. They tormented the cardinal, saying, We came here because of you. Brother, after seeing these torments of hell, my life will never be the same again.